While washing my girlfriend's clothes, I found a big hole in her yoga pants. The location was the crotch. I was stunned. I never played around that wildly with her. These yoga pants are a gift I bought for my girlfriend. It's a brand, and the quality is very good. What kind of exercise could cause such a big hole? My heart skipped a beat instantly. Unless this was deliberately sabotaged. I don't remember us playing this kind of thing in bed. I stood in the bathroom, holding my yoga pants, unable to stop my mind from wandering. The more I thought about it, the more something felt off. At that moment, my girlfriend sent me a Facebook message. "Baby, I have to work overtime tonight to give this member extra training. You handle dinner yourself." My girlfriend Lily is a fitness coach. At that time, I was still a beginner in fitness and was thinking of finding a coach to guide me. I immediately took a liking to her and bought 20 sessions with her in one go. Later, during our regular training, we developed feelings for each other and entered a period of ambiguity. After we got together, she promised me that she would only train female members and handed over all her male clients. But just recently, I accidentally found information about a male member on her phone. I immediately confronted her. She said that if she didn't take on this male member, her performance this month wouldn't meet the target. I know the gym business hasn't been doing well lately. Besides, their chat records were quite normal, so I didn't say much. But recently, she started working overtime frequently, saying that the gym had a lot of business. At first, I didn't think much of it and believed she was genuinely busy. Now it seems there is definitely something wrong. I suppressed my anger and replied to her, "What time do you get off work? I'll come pick you up." "Oh, no need, baby. This female member is pretty inexperienced. I have to teach her more. Since I've taken the money, I have to be responsible for her. I don't even know how late this will go." "Female member? I don't buy it." I quickly changed my clothes and headed out, flooring the accelerator straight to the gym. When I arrived, I didn't go in through the main entrance directly. Because the front desk staff all knew me, I couldn't alert them prematurely. I circled around and entered the gym through a side door. It was Lily who told me this. After searching for a long time, I finally found their figures in the yoga room. Seeing this, I almost fainted. I saw Lily sitting astride a man. The two were passionately kissing. The man was kissing while also reaching inside Lily's clothes, groping wildly. Is this a female member? Is this the responsibility she was talking about? She really doesn't treat me like a person. Getting a little closer, I could still hear their conversation. Don't squeeze too hard, or my guy will find out. Wouldn't it be even more exciting if he did? I hate it so much. Am I not way better than your guy? Don't mention that idiot, it's a buzzkill. So, do you want me to call your idiot? Last time, I really felt something. Oh, you're so bad. So I was the fool they were talking about. Blood surged to my head in an instant. I wanted nothing more than to rush in and kill them right then and there. But reason told me not to act impulsively. Even if I expose them now, the worst that will happen is a big fight or a brawl, and then Lily and I will break up. That would be way too easy for them. I quickly recorded everything on my phone, then quietly went back home without a sound. Just you wait. If I don't ruin you completely, then I'm not a real man. I have a vague memory of that man. He's exactly the male member I found on Lily's phone before. His name is Zach, 20 years old, and he seems to be a college student. The reason I paid attention to him was because his features were delicate and he was somewhat good-looking. He was the type most girls liked. After I got home, I sent the photo to my childhood friend Max and asked him to help me check this guy's background. Max has been involved in the streets for a long time, with wide connections and wild methods. He's the perfect person to handle this matter. I told Max the whole story, and to my surprise, he jumped even higher than me and said, "This kid must be tired of living, right? Should I bring a few brothers to deal with him?" No rush. Let's investigate thoroughly first. When the time comes, they'll be the ones crying. Max agreed immediately, told me to wait for his news, and said he'd give me an answer by tomorrow at the latest. Lily didn't come back until after 9 in the evening. I'm exhausted. These members nowadays are really hard to teach. She stretched lazily while complaining to me. You've worked hard, baby. Go take a shower. I'll make you a late-night snack, I said with a doting look. I was faking it. Even I found it disgusting. Baby, you're so sweet. Saying that, she pretended to kiss me. Just thinking about how she had been passionately kissing another man made my stomach churn, almost making me vomit. I dodged naturally and then rushed straight into the kitchen. After quickly making a few dishes, I took advantage of her still being in the shower to secretly check her phone. But unfortunately, everything was normal. Apart from her dad and her brother, she hadn't even chatted with any other men. There must be something fishy going on here. The two of them were biting each other like that tonight. If you say they don't flirt privately, I wouldn't believe it for a second. She must have a backup phone. Before going to sleep at night, Lily held me and begged for love. I refused her, using the excuse that work was too tiring. Laughing to death. Does she even deserve to touch me now? I'm afraid she might have some disease and infect me. After confirming she was asleep, I quietly went to the hall and started rummaging through her bag. A glimmer inside caught my attention. It was her tablet, and the screen was still on. Truly, heaven is on my side. I couldn't wait to open Facebook. I've never seen this account before. It seems to be a secondary account she registered. Her Facebook pin chat is with someone labeled husband. The profile picture doesn't match mine. It's clearly that Zach. She never even called me husband. After reading their chat, my scalp went numb instantly, as if I had fallen into an ice cave. He's too ugly, and down there he's not as big as you, nor is he as skilled as you. He's just my dog. Whatever I want, he has to buy for me. When I'm angry, he doesn't even dare to fart. I definitely won't marry him. Spend my whole life with him? I'd rather die, and my parents have always told me to find someone richer. Once we get the relocation compensation from his hometown, sister will be with you forever. Seeing this, my hands couldn't stop trembling, and I almost couldn't catch my breath in one go. It turns out she never loved me from the beginning to the end. What she loved was nothing but my money. Later, their conversations became increasingly explicit, filthy, and lewd, simply unbearable to witness. I couldn't believe these were the words spoken by my partner. My girlfriend, who usually blushes at a few dirty jokes, was completely a slut behind my back. Thousands of lengthy chat messages, each sentence like a needle, densely piercing my heart. These two met at an offline event. Later, in order to be able to be together openly, Zach signed up for a membership and then bought her course. What was even more surprising was that all this money was actually paid by Lily for him. Using one's own money to boost one's own performance. I even suspect that she might have been kicked in the head by a donkey. After taking photos to preserve all these chat records, I returned the tablet to its original place. I didn't go into the room to sleep, but made do with spending the night on the sofa. I'm afraid that if I sleep next to her, I won't be able to resist strangling her to death. The next day, before dawn, I got up to go to work. Every extra second spent with her is a form of torment. Meanwhile, Max brought me the latest news. You don't realize it until you check, and once you do, you're shocked. Max told me this guy is a notorious regular on the dating scene. He majored in basketball and, relying on his good looks and physique, hooked up with quite a few girls at school. He even got some girls pregnant. You could say he's a complete piece of trash. Max sent someone to follow him for a few more days and unexpectedly discovered something even more incredible. This guy has recently not only hooked up with an older wealthy woman, but also has an improper relationship with a married female teacher at school. During breaks, he usually cuddles with the female teacher in the morning, checks into a hotel with the young woman in the afternoon, and spends the evening with the wealthy woman. Goodness, I just exclaimed, goodness. Truly a top-notch time management master. The more stains he has, the more it benefits me. Max sent me all the evidence he collected, along with the contact information of the older wealthy woman and the female teacher's husband. It is worth mentioning that Max told me the female teacher's husband is a martial arts coach. A few years ago, he went in because of fighting and brawling. He's a tough guy. Good. Very good. A perfect revenge plan took shape in my mind. That afternoon, Lily lied to me, saying she had to work overtime again that night. I replied to her coldly, "Thanks for your hard work, baby. Come back as soon as you're done. I'll make you a late-night snack." "Thank you, baby, love you." After work in the evening, I drove my car to the gym and used Max to send a text to the older wealthy woman with my newly registered phone number. "You fat old hag, so what if you have money? You're old and ugly. Zach says every time he sees your face, he wants to vomit. He and I are true love. If you know what's good for you, you'd better get lost and stop interfering with our relationship." Almost instantly, a call came through from the other side. I hung up and then sent her a text, "We're busy right now." This is already the fourth time today. His stamina is really impressive. Another call came in, and I immediately hung up with a flick of my hand. "Who the hell are you? What exactly is your relationship with my boyfriend?" She kept bombarding me with text messages. I ignored her completely. From now on, all that's left is to watch the show. I was in the car, enjoying the air conditioning and listening to music. Sure enough, before long, Zach came out of the gym. He looked tense, stopping cars by the roadside while holding the phone and explaining something. Lily was right behind him, seemingly trying to hold him back. Unexpectedly, Zach pushed her away, then turned to glare at her with an unusually fierce look before quickly getting into a taxi and leaving in a huff, leaving Lily standing there with a face full of grievance. It seems he still loves money a little more. I, who witnessed the whole scene from the side, couldn't stop laughing. This dog looks really funny, like it's fleeing in panic. Relax, buddy, the game has just begun. I had just arrived home when Lily came back right after. I looked at her innocently and said, "Baby, didn't you say you were working late? Why are you back so early?" That client had a family emergency and ended early. She forced a smile as she said. Although she disguised it well, I still caught her disappointment and displeasure. After dinner, I was washing the dishes in the kitchen. Suddenly, she hugged me from behind and softly said, "Baby, my parents and brother are coming over tomorrow. They want to have a meal with you to discuss our wedding plans. You have to make a good impression then." After all this, he still has the nerve to talk to me about marriage. Truly, a shameless person is invincible in this world. Her parents aren't any better. Those two old pests have no decent jobs and only think about how to catch a wealthy son-in-law. Ever since they found out Lily and I are together, they've been trying to get benefits from me. Before, I turned a blind eye for Lily's sake. As for her brother, he's a complete loser, spending all day playing games and not even stepping outside for a whole month. This meal is 99.9% about the bride price again. I originally wanted to find some excuse to say I was busy, but just as the words were about to leave my mouth, I changed my mind. No problem, I'll pick them up tomorrow. As for our marriage, I'll make sure they're satisfied. After work the next day, I went straight to the restaurant. As soon as I walked in, her dad warmly put his arm around my shoulder, while her mom thoughtfully pulled out a chair for me. "Start with the dishes first. You must be starving after working all day. Today, I ordered all your favorite foods." Her parents took turns serving food into my bowl, while my girlfriend wiped my mouth beside me. With that attitude, one might think I was a prince. After a few drinks, her parents' true colors were revealed. Her father, with a thick tongue, said to me, "If you and Lily can make it, her mother and I will be truly happy. We've treated her like a precious gem since she was little, never letting her suffer any hardship. Now we just hope you can treat her well, cherish her, and never let her be wronged." I toasted her father and said straightforwardly, "Don't worry, Uncle and Auntie, I will definitely treat Lily well and never let her down in this lifetime." Her mother continued, Our Lily has had countless suitors since she was young, and even now, many matchmakers come to me, saying they want to introduce wealthy men to Lily. Just last week, the daughter of the neighbors next door got married, and the groom's family gave a full $200,000 as bride price. That display, I don't know how many people were envious. I really can't understand it. Their daughter, her education, looks, figure, personality, how does she compare to our Lily in any way? I smiled and said, Lily is the most perfect woman in the world. Meeting her is my greatest fortune in 3 lifetimes. Don't worry, uncles and aunties, I know what you're concerned about. My family's bride price is definitely more than others, and the presentation will absolutely outshine theirs, guaranteed to make everyone envious. Her mother, seeing a chance, said excitedly, Since you say so, this amount shouldn't be too much, right? Her mother held up 3 fingers. 300,000. She really dared to ask for that much. Is she marrying off her daughter or selling her? I've already inquired about the bride price on their side. It's only around 100,000 or 80,000. The neighbor's daughter has a bride price of 200,000, but 9 times out of 10, that's also made up by them. I saw the atmosphere was about right, so I was ready to make a big move. 300,000 as bride price. I can't believe you actually came up with that. I slammed the table and shouted angrily. Her parents were startled by me. My girlfriend looked at me with a face full of disbelief. Even her younger brother, who had been playing games the whole time, was so shocked that he dropped his phone on the floor. Her dad quickly caught on, stood up, and pointed at me with his finger, as if he was about to burst out in anger at any moment. The atmosphere instantly became tense to the breaking point. Her dad has a bad temper, and I was afraid that if I provoked him too much, he might hit me. So I hurriedly explained, What I mean is, Lily is such a wonderful girl. How could she possibly be married off for just 300,000? I discussed it with my parents, and our family has decided to offer a bride price of 500,000. After I said that, their whole family's eyes suddenly widened, all staring at me in unison. Their gazes were full of surprise and delight. Ah? How much? Did you say how much? Her mother's explosive shout shattered the silence. I said word by word, Auntie, 500,000. Wife, I told you, the moment I saw this kid, I knew she was reliable. Entrusting Lily to you, we feel completely at ease. Her father was so excited he almost jumped up. Her mother was also so excited that she was at a loss. My girlfriend hugged me tightly, then kissed me on the cheek and coquettishly said, Baby, I knew you were the best. This family really took the phrase money talks to the extreme. My face showed sincerity, but inside I sneered coldly. What's reliable or not is simply that money needs to be in place to be reliable. I looked at her brother who was still playing games and continued, Uncle, Auntie, I think it's not good for my brother to just stay at home playing games all the time. How about this? After Lily and I get married, I'll invest in opening a supermarket downstairs in our building, with my brother as the boss. What do you think? Her parents, upon hearing this, excitedly held my hand tightly and wouldn't let go. I kept painting a rosy picture. If my younger brother does well, I'll put in some more money to buy him a house, which will serve as his future marital home. At this point, those 2 old folks didn't know what to say anymore. Lily, even more boldly, passionately kissed me in front of their entire family. Her younger brother also broke from his usual self, stood up, and toasted me, From now on, you're my real brother. Whether it's walking through fire or climbing a mountain of blades, little brother will never hesitate. Her dad also raised a glass to me. Her mom waved her hand and added a few more dishes, all abalone, sea cucumber, and king crab. I glanced at the menu. It was indeed not cheap. It doesn't matter anyway, I'm not the one paying. The family of 4 was immersed in great joy at that moment, and no one noticed the coldness in my eyes. Laugh to your heart's content. If you don't laugh now, there won't be another chance. That night, Lily wore a set of lingerie I had never seen before and seductively teased me on the bed. It's just a pity that my feelings for her have already died. That night, after she fell asleep, I secretly looked at her tablet again. But this time it was on a black screen and required a password to unlock. I tried her birthday, my birthday, and some commonly used passwords of hers, but none of them worked. Suddenly, I thought of Zach. Entering his birthday, the tablet finally unlocked. I couldn't help but sigh. This is what true love really is. The latest chat record stopped an hour ago. I'm very unhappy about what happened that night, and you still haven't given me a reasonable explanation. Although I was curious about how Zach explained things to the older wealthy woman that night. After I dealt with him like this, he has indeed been much more well-behaved recently, and I haven't seen Lily working overtime. Didn't I tell you? That was my eldest sister at home. She came to visit me recently, and I had to keep her company. I don't believe it! If you don't believe it, fine. Anyway, I can't be with you lately. I thought, how can we not meet? Then wouldn't my plan be ruined? It seems it's time to give them a push. So the next day, I had a big fight with Lily. Are you having an affair with that male member? I've always felt something was off between you two. After saying that, I even slapped her. That feeling was really awesome. I've wanted to hit her for a long time. My girlfriend covered her face with one hand, looking at me in shock. Are you crazy? How dare you? Before she finished speaking, I slapped her again. I'm crazy, so what? Tell me, when did you start with that male member? You damn slut. Lily immediately turned furious. She shouted loudly while rushing over to scratch me. You're the real slut. Your whole family are sluts. I pushed her away and said to her, you're about to get married, and yet you do things like this. Don't you have a conscience? My girlfriend screamed like crazy. There's nothing going on between me and that male member. Are you out of your mind? I looked at her with disbelief, my eyes full of contempt. Fine, this is your doing. Don't regret it. With that, she slammed the door shut and left. That night, her mother called me, asking what was really going on and why Lily suddenly called to say she wasn't getting married. I said nothing. Maybe sensing that I was angry, her mother quickly said, Lily has been spoiled by us since she was little. Sometimes she can be a bit willful, but I know her character well. She would never do anything to hurt you. I smiled. You don't know a damn thing. Your daughter is a bitch. I still said nothing, continuing to act aloof. Her mother got anxious, fearing I would also refuse to marry. If that really happened, the $500,000 bride price, the supermarket owner, and the wedding house would all become illusions. Don't be angry, Auntie will call her right away to come back. If there's anything, we'll clear it up face to face. Shortly after hanging up, a message about booking a hotel room popped up on her tablet. She must have been so upset about the child that she actually forgot to take the tablet with her, and even more so that the tablet syncs messages. I knew she couldn't hold back. The good show is about to begin. After seeing the message about the hotel room, I immediately drove to that hotel. After staking out for about an hour, I finally caught sight of that adulterous couple. They held hands, chatting and laughing as they walked into the hotel. Their loving appearance made one can't help but feel that they were truly partners. I put on my hat and mask, then quietly followed them. After they entered a room on the 10th floor, I sent the hotel location and room number to the older rich woman, leaving her a message. You fat bitch. Zach and I are waiting for you here. Today, we'll settle everything once and for all. The older rich woman replied almost instantly. You stinky bitch. If you dare, don't run. In less than 20 minutes, the elevator entrance became noisy. I quickly hid in the stairwell, ready to watch the show. I saw a slightly plump woman who looked to be in her 40s, storming over with great momentum. And she was not alone. 3 muscular men, each about 6 feet tall, followed closely behind her. It was clear that she was really angry. After finding the room, she angrily shouted and knocked on the door. Right now, that unfaithful couple was probably in the heat of their passionate fight. There was no time to pay attention to her. At that moment, a cleaner happened to pass by. The older wealthy woman was quick-eyed and quick-handed, snatching the universal room card from her waist. Beep beep, the door opened. The four of them surged inside in an instant. After seeing the situation inside clearly, the older wealthy woman cursed loudly. "Zach, how dare you betray me?" Immediately, the woman's scream echoed through the entire corridor. If not Lily, then who else could it be? It's still not too late at this time. Many people haven't gone to bed yet. They all opened their doors and peeked out, ready to watch the drama unfold. I felt the situation wasn't intense enough, so I strained my voice and shouted, "The wife is beating up the mistress. Everyone come and see." As soon as everyone heard this, they perked up and all rushed out to watch the commotion. I blended into the crowd and started recording with my phone. At this moment, Zach was like a dead dog, being firmly pinned to the ground by two muscular men. Lily seemed to have just taken a shower. Her hair was wet, and she was wrapped only in a towel, curled up in the corner, shivering. "Call me," the mature wealthy woman said coldly. The last muscular man said nothing and fiercely kicked Zach right in the groin. The pig-like screams echoed through the air. The men watching the commotion couldn't help but tighten their groins. That feels so satisfying. If I weren't afraid of revealing my identity, I'd want to go up and kick a few times. Stop hitting me, baby, you have to listen to my explanation." Zach's face turned pale, as if he was about to faint at any moment. "If you have something to say, just spit it out. Baby, you misunderstood. Actually, she is my aunt, and nothing happened between us." "Aunt?" I can't believe he actually came up with that. What kind of decent person would book a room with their aunt and then strip naked to talk on the bed? Isn't this treating people like fools? As expected, the older wealthy woman got even angrier and kicked him in the stomach. "Damn your aunt. I think she's actually a stinking whore who sells herself." Has Lily ever been insulted like this since she was a child? Although their family favored boys over girls, her parents never spared any love for her. With her strong pride and need to save face, how could she possibly endure this? "Who do you think you're talking about? You're the one selling yourself, old woman," she shouted loudly while rushing over to hit the older wealthy woman. In the end, she didn't even touch a single hair on her, but was pinned down by one of the muscular men, unable to move. When the man applied a little pressure, Lily cried out in pain. "Weren't you very arrogant when you texted me insults before? Today, I'll show you just how fierce I can be." The older wealthy woman first yanked the towel off Lily, then shouted to the onlookers, "Come on, everyone, take a good look at what a slut who seduces other men's husbands looks like." A pale expanse was thus exposed before everyone. Lily, both embarrassed and anxious, tried to cover her private parts with her hands. But unfortunately, the strength gap between her and the muscular man was too great, and she could only watch helplessly as she was humiliated. The onlookers were all just there for the spectacle, not wanting to get involved, and no one stepped in to help her. "You damn bitch, you really piss me off." With that, the older wealthy woman unleashed her full fury on Lily, slapping her more than a dozen times until she cried out loud. And Zach played dead the whole time, not daring to even fart. This farce didn't last very long. After the hotel manager and security came up, they dispersed the crowd. Before leaving, I even heard the older wealthy woman say to Zach, "The tens of thousands I spent on you during our relationship must be paid back in full, or I'll have someone beat you up every day." I waited at the hotel entrance for about 10 minutes before finally seeing Zach hobbling out, followed by Lily, whose face was swollen like a pig's head. It was a stark contrast to when we first arrived. The two had a big fight and parted on bad terms. Everything went as smoothly as I had planned. When the time was right, I sent the pre-edited message to Lily. "Baby, I was wrong. I shouldn't have been so sensitive or spoken harshly to you. I just love you so much and was afraid you would leave me. Can you forgive me? I promise I won't do this again. In a few days, it's my birthday and I want to propose to you officially in front of everyone, making them all envious. Please come back, forever loving you, Chung. She replied that she needed a few more days to calm down. She said that the hurt I caused her this time was too great. I laughed. Naturally, she wouldn't dare come home to see me now. Otherwise, how could she explain that look on her face? She also said she would come on my birthday. That put my mind at ease. If the final battle didn't have her, the effect would be greatly diminished. Then I called her mom and told her that we had made up. I also casually mentioned that I was going to propose to Lily on her birthday. Her mom shouted excitedly and said yes. On my birthday, I booked a large private room at a 5-star hotel. Lily appeared alone, and her face had mostly recovered. Something felt off. She told me she had been stung by a bee. Hilarious. She can even come up with such a lame excuse. Besides Lily's whole family, I invited her distant relatives and even her elementary school classmates, arranging a total of 4 large tables. I've never seen such a luxurious hotel before. A meal here must cost over $10,000, right? Your daughter is really lucky to have found such a capable partner. I heard your son-in-law is going to open a supermarket for your son, right? My useless kid just graduated and can't find a job. See if you can help. Lily's dad was beaming with a smile that wouldn't fade amid everyone's praises. After several rounds of drinks, the atmosphere in the private room grew livelier and livelier. Her dad finished a whole bottle of mithai by himself, his face flushed with a rosy glow, holding me and saying that his daughter meeting me was a blessing earned over 8 lifetimes. Everyone expressed their agreement, all hoping their daughters could meet a man like me. Only Lily maintained a calm expression throughout, probably still upset. I thought the time was right and gave a glance to the waiter beside me. The waiter understood immediately and said a few words into the walkie-talkie. In an instant, all the lights in the private room went out. In their place, romantic and warm candlelight appeared. At the same time, the floor was covered with roses and white balloons floated on the surrounding walls. Together, they formed a sentence. Marry me. Soft and beautiful music played simultaneously in the private room. I seized the moment, knelt down on one knee, holding a 1-carat diamond ring I bought from Amazon. Baby, will you marry me? I will treat you well for a lifetime and always be by your side. Lily was completely stunned. Everyone shouted in unison, marry him. Marry him. Then I went on to spout a bunch of cheesy love lines, which moved her deeply. The heart that was recently shattered by a scumbag was healed at this moment. I agree. Amidst everyone's cheers and excitement, I placed the ring on her finger and we embraced tightly. Just then, the door to the private room was suddenly pushed open. A delivery guy walked in and loudly asked, "May I ask who the mail lead is? There is a package that requires your personal signature." I was momentarily stunned, then stood up and signaled the waiter to turn on the lights. The note says this is your engagement gift, and you must watch it together with your family and friends. After saying that, the delivery guy handed me a USB drive. Lily's dad shouted, "What good stuff is this? Let everyone have a look." Everyone started clamoring as well, wanting to see what was actually on the USB drive. There was a computer and a big screen in the private room, so after setting up the equipment, I plugged in the USB drive. After opening it, there was only one video inside. I glanced around. Everyone seemed unusually excited, intently watching the big screen. Lily was puzzled, but there was a hint of anticipation in her eyes. I gave a devilish smile. Press the play button. Zach, how dare you betray me? Baby, listen to me, she is my aunt. Aunt? I think she's just a filthy whore outselling herself. You're the one who's outselling yourself. Next came the scenes of Lily being stripped naked and slapped more than a dozen times. I even turned the volume up to the maximum, afraid that those sitting in the last row wouldn't hear. After the video finished playing, the entire private room fell into complete silence. Even a fool could see what had happened. I looked at Lily with a face full of disbelief. She was completely stunned by this point. Embarrassment, shame, anger, confusion, all kinds of expressions crossed her face. This change of expression would put even an Oscar-winning actress to shame. Everyone looked at each other, and no one dared to speak. Smack! A sharp slap broke the silence. Everyone was startled. "You've brought shame to both your mother and me, you shameless wretch." Lily was slapped to the ground. It was clear that this slap was delivered with all her strength. "How did I give birth to such a shameless creature like you? Today, I will act on behalf of heaven and beat you to death." Her father cursed while grabbing a wine glass, about to smash it over Lily's head. Seeing this, everyone quickly stepped in to stop him. Her mother, unable to bear the shock, went black in the eyes and fainted to the ground. Everyone was terrified, making emergency calls while administering first aid. The scene was once in utter chaos. I seized the right moment and slipped away quietly without a sound. Because the one left to foot the bill in the end definitely couldn't be me. After leaving the hotel, I took a deep breath. It turned out that the air smelled so sweet. As soon as I got home, I changed the combination lock and then packed up all of Lily's things that were at my place and threw them into the trash pile downstairs. During this time, Lily and her father called me countless times. I could guess what they were going to say with my eyes closed. I just blocked them all outright, too lazy to waste my breath on them. Then, I bundled all the evidence of Lily cheating and Zach messing around and posted it online. I also asked Max to use his connections to help me share it. The more people who see it, the better. Of course, I didn't forget to send a separate copy to the female teacher's husband, who is that martial arts coach. A few days later, a big piece of news broke out. It was said that a male college student had an improper relationship with a married female teacher at the school, and her husband found out. The female teacher's husband went straight to the male college student who was teaching in the classroom and beat him up in front of more than 40 classmates. It is said that he was especially ruthless, and no one in the classroom dared to step forward to stop him. If the police hadn't arrived in time, the college boy would probably have been beaten into a vegetative state. The most critical thing is that his little brother was ruined. For the rest of his life, it would be no different from being a eunuch. Lily wasn't doing much better. Her image was severely damaged. The gym's reputation also suffered greatly. After her boss found out about the good deeds she had done, he immediately fired her and demanded that she compensate for the gym's reputational damage. I heard it even ended up in court in the end. Her parents also cut ties with her and kicked her out of the house. She tried to find a job again, but no company dared to hire her. Max said the last time anyone saw her was beside a trash bin in the food street. At this point, the grand revenge drama led by me finally came to an end.